Welcome back to another edition of the Disney Dish Podcast with Jim Hill. It's me, Len Testa, and this is our show for the week of Schmersday, July 25th, 2022. On the show today, news, listener questions, and surveys. Plus, special guest Christina is here to tell you her top 3 food picks from this year's Food and Wine Festival at EPCOT. In our main segment, Jim tells us what happened when Disney converted Norway's Maelstrom ride over to Frozen Ever After, with the help from the guy who originated the role of Bandana Dog in the 2010 animated classic Marmaduke. Honestly, I don't know where Jim finds these people. But let's get started by bringing in the man who says that TV shows that display good-looking food should be required by law to tell you which app delivers it. It's Mr. Jim Hill. Jim, how's it going?
It's going great. A quick food-related question. Len, have you been following the Julia show over on HBO Max, The Story of Julia Child?
No, is it good?
They've done a great job of just explaining the whole history of how she became the premier woman cooking on television. The way it starts out is she got invited on public television in Boston. She had written her French cooking book, and they thought, okay, so we invited her to the book show, and she's going to talk about her book. And no, Julia shows up with a hot plate and proceeds
in an apron.
and proceeds to cook an omelet in the middle of the book segment.
You laugh. An omelet is often the cooking test that restaurants give to chefs.
Is it
because
really?
If you can't make an omelet, you can't do anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the omelet is sort of the litmus test. It's like the step. Okay, so anyway.
It ends with the host sort of scrambling off the set because nobody's ever cooked on a book show before. But the crew immediately, is simply, can we eat that?
Is this a prop or can we?
Yeah. And that segment of the book show winds up getting the most mail they've ever gotten for any show on GBH in Boston. And that's what launches the show. And she has the happiest crew in television because it's like, you like Julia.
I screwed up this chicken. Here, eat it.
There we go. It's just sort of like people used to fight for that gig. It's like, no, we're cooking today. I get to eat.
My all-time favorite Julia Child quote is she was looking at a really well-presented plate of food. And she said, "Oh my God, this looks lovely. You just know that someone's fingers were all over it." which is an acknowledgement of the craft of presentation along with what goes on behind the scenes. Like it's the perfect quote. Like this is what you have to do to make it look like this.
I once got to go to Savinor's in Cambridge, Massachusetts. That was Julia Child's butcher. Anything that was cooked on the show, the meat came from there. And so I got to meet George Savinor, the owner of the show. And the thing is, he come behind the case with me. It's like, okay. And it's like, and it's like, okay. And it was trying to explain to me, the effect of, all right, how do I know this is quality meat? Touch it. Feel the grain. You could feel the fat. This is a great piece of meat. And I kept thinking the same thing. And you're going to turn around and sell this afternoon to somebody else, after I've been manhandling this amazing piece of beef.
Yeah. I mean, it's if you want to eat good food, you don't want to know how it's made, and that's what it comes down to.
There we go.
Right?
And kind of ironic because we're going to bring Chrissy on shortly.
That's right. We have a special guest on the show today, Christina from touringplans.com. Welcome back, Christina.
Woo!
Christina, you there?
Sorry, missed my mute button. Hi.
Hello. All right, before we get started, Jim, let's do a quick shout out to subscribers over at DisneyDish.bandcamp.com. Thanks to new subscribers Michelle Foley, Annie Barton, and Brian Fleming, and longtime subscribers Eldorado87, Zwedema, and Bob Stagner. Jim, these are the folks who came up with the new Beauty and the Beast lighting package for Spaceship Earth over at EPCOT. They say that while it came out well, their original idea was to project the rolling boulder from Indiana Jones, but the staff kept running into World Showcase Lagoon to avoid it. True story.
Oh, has this really debuted, a Beauty and the Beast lighting package?
I believe it has. Yeah.
Wow. I saw the 4th of July stuff, which was lovely, but oh man, they are killing it.
If not, it's coming up. Maybe we shouldn't be talking about it. Maybe we don't know. Yeah.
No, I didn't hear that segment. Okay.
All right, Jim, let's do the news. Folks, the Disney Dish News is brought to you by Storybook Destinations, trusted travel partner of the Disney Dish podcast. For a worry-free travel experience every time, book online at storybookdestinations.com. Jim, Disney announced that this coming Wednesday, July 27th, is the launch of Magic Band Plus. Like the original Magic Bands, Magic Band Plus will get you into the parks, serve as your Genie Plus media, and function just like the old model for things like hotel room doors. But Magic Band Plus adds new features, including haptic feedback, that's vibrations, as well as gesture recognition, among other things. That should, in theory, open up a whole bunch of in-park interactive game playing. And Jim, Disney's already announced the first of these, which piggybacks on the existing gameplay in Galaxy's Edge. It's Batuu Bounty Hunters. Have you heard of this?
I have not. What does this entail?
So it's a combination of using your Magic Band Plus to wave your arms around to unlock puzzles and secrets and things like that, combined with the Play Disney Parks app, which uses the screen basically to tell you what to do. It's similar to what Christy and I did in Batuu on the Galactic Star Cruiser, where we were using the app, especially the camera-facing features of the app, to identify certain parts of like crates and artifacts that you're supposed to find. It's an elaborate scavenger hunt. My sense is the Magic Band Plus thing is an additional layer on that. But Jim, what do you think this portends for in-park interactive games? And here I'm thinking, like, is this basically the foundational element of the next generation of Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom, for example?
In talking with folks at the park, as they have been creeping up attendance levels, especially at the Magic Kingdom, they are really missing sorcerers. If you factored in all of the individual stations around the
it's
park,
a Peter Pan. It's one Peter Pan's worth of lost capacity, yeah.
Yeah, we would really love to have that sort of gameplay to sort of take some heat off of the attraction. So yeah, the studios definitely needs additional capacity. So if this is launching there, but yeah, that there's the number of other parks that are raising their hands and like, yeah, let's do that. When do we get ours?
I'm thinking that Disney can combine elements of 3 separate things to solve different problems using the Magic Bands. We've talked in the past, recently in fact, about the Disney Institute not having enough traction, right? Also, we know that Disney is having trouble hiring back of house staff for kitchens. Imagine, Jim, and I'm spitballing here, a Magic Band Plus game where they hand you a knife and teach you to chop vegetables correctly that can be used for food in Disney restaurants. And they make you run around to different restaurants throughout the day in whatever park you're in to prepare the food, but make it a game. Gamify it. And there's a Remy vibe in there. Maybe we debut this in Epcot. I don't know. Chrissy, help me out here.
I'm going to be honest with you. The idea of me having to move more in 180-degree heat.
The heat index is barely above 110.
Okay, because I'm going to test this out next week. But I'm going to make sure I play music over me cussing, showing everybody as I move my arms, my sweat. Plus, nobody should be raising their arms in this weather.
Yeah, it's just an offense to humanity.
We'll play this in September or December.
Exactly. Yeah, December, when it's only like 90.
Not now.
Yeah.
Enough about this alleged climate change. Please continue with the news.
Speaking of food and things Christy and I are going to do, Victoria and Albert's reopens this week. Christy and I are going, and we'll have a full report for the show on August 8th. Also, Jim, I don't know if you've seen this, but the gift shop at the end of Space Mountain, the Tomorrowland Light and Power Company, closes at the end of August so that work can happen on the combined exit for Tron and Space Mountain, which is going to go through that space. And along those lines, Jim, we've started to see vehicle testing on Tron in the last few days. So, Jim, you recall, my prediction for a while has been a December 1st opening for Tron. How's that looking these days?
They would love to have it ready out ahead of the Thanksgiving crowds, but in fact, have you been keeping track on the work that's going on with the Walt Disney World Circle train?
The train. They're starting to uncover some of the train tracks around the Walt Disney World Railroad.
The hope is for Labor Day, that's up and running. They're running and gunning, trying to make Thanksgiving, but you're not wrong about the December 1st thing. I think those who are actually working on the project who want to err on the side of caution. It's like, we'll definitely have it ready for Christmas and hopefully a couple of weeks out ahead of Christmas.
Yeah, but you think 2022 instead of 2023?
Oh, no. They feel especially on the heels of what happened with the 50th anniversary. Is like the press surrounding Cosmic Rewind is like, okay, new thrill ride. Please just ride the other thrill ride. Come ride this thrill ride.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think, Epcot is getting an attendance boost from Guardians of the Galaxy. That's pretty plain to see. And the 1-2 combination of Remy last year and Guardians this year is really helping what would otherwise be a really struggling theme park.
No, absolutely. But at the same time, the fact that after all these years of hearing the phrase vomit comet used, the notion, here is actually the ride, the Venn diagram works, it exemplifies, hey, you go out into space and you get sick. Yeah. It's the vomit comet.
Maybe not print up those t-shirts right away, Jim, but soon.
There we go.
All right, let's do a couple of quick surveys. Jim, Disney must be sending out a bunch of surveys regarding its apps and website because we've got a ton of them over the past couple of weeks. Here's one from Gene who says, here's a website and app usability survey I got from Disney. As an aside, I stopped by guest services today to ask a question and was given a different answer than I expected. When I said, that's not what it said on the website, the cast member said, well, the website's wrong a lot of times. But so the question that Gene sent in says, regarding the Walt Disney World website, does it make me want to spend more time at the Walt Disney World Resort? Do you strongly agree, neither agree or disagree, or strongly disagree? And does the website help me discover things to do at the Walt Disney World Resort that I wouldn't have considered otherwise? And then the third question is, does the Walt Disney World website provide recommendations that are useful for me? And for that one, Gene answered, I strongly disagree with that, and then got follow-up questions about what went wrong. Likewise, our friend Elizabeth sent in a different survey that also asked about the Disney World website. And the question goes like this. Based on your experience with DisneyWorld.com, how much do you agree or disagree with the following statements? The Disney World website makes me want to spend more time at the Walt Disney World Resort. And so Elizabeth said neither agree nor disagree. Exceeds my expectations of what a Disney digital experience should be like. And that one got a disagree from Elizabeth. Provides recommendations that are useful for me. So that's another example question. There's the same. Strongly disagree on that. Makes it feel like Disney knows me. And let me just say right here, for Disney to put that question on a survey, when Disney knows that you have to log in 2 or 3 times in the app, and then when they kick you out to the website to make a park reservation, that question should not be on this survey because we already know the answer, right? Helps me discover things to do at the Walt Disney Resort that I wouldn't have considered otherwise. That was a strongly disagree. Makes it feel like Disney cares about their guests. And Elizabeth here was diplomatic and said just plain disagree on that. But Jim, do any of these answers surprise you?
Just the fact that they are asking, this is finally part of the conversation about how is our front door? Please tell us. And does it make you want to come in?
The other thing I wanted to point out here is that in this particular survey, Disney uses DisneyWorld.com, but there's a rumor going around that Disney's going to change the name of the resort to Disney World as one word, like Disneyland? Have you seen that?
Some of this has to do with quote-unquote brand issues.
That's what I thought.
We actually saw Walt Disney Pictures become Disney within the past decade. And do we finally default to what people are actually calling the resort? They're not saying the Walt Disney World Resort. They're saying Disney World.
Disney World, yeah. And a lot of people do actually say it as one word.
Yeah.
Or write it out as one word, yeah.
Yeah. Do we pretend this is the name we insist you use?
Yeah. Is this the battle we want to fight? Is this the hill we're going to die on?
No, that's it exactly. My name is Jonathan Moore. No, we call you Skippy. Okay, you're Skippy.
Exactly. So the reason, Jim, I mentioned the Disney website surveys is that it's a setup for an email that we received from a longtime friend of the show who's going to remain nameless for reasons that will be obvious in about 10 seconds. And he wrote in and said this. Just started a new job at a Fortune 100 company and took some training on creating a good user experience for a digital platform. Typically, these classes mix good examples with bad to reinforce the lessons they're trying to teach. For the bad example, the user experience team picked the Disney World website. Without signing in, we picked up 78 cookies in 5 minutes just navigating around the Walt Disney World pages. Then we signed in, and that demo showed how the not signed in cookies break Disney's platform once you sign in or visit other Disney sites. The takeaway was that there needs to be one team setting only a few cookies and then pressure testing them across the company's platforms. I heard you talk about this on the podcast, and I thought you'd chuckle knowing that the Disney World website is part of a formalized corporate curriculum on what not to do to users.
Oh, wow.
So, Jim, it's one thing for you and I to complain, right, about the website and stuff, but when you're used as a bad example by another Fortune 100 company, Or like, don't do this to your users. That's got to be a call to action, right?
It has to be. And clearly somebody in the building is championing, look, we have to fix this. We really, it's time.
Yeah. And I think, one of the issues that, so when I communicated back and forth with this person, I think the thing that we realized was there are so many siloed groups that work on the Disney's website that it's one of the fundamental causes, the root causes of this problem. Because you might be in a group and you might say, hey, I am going to write this little, computer cookie to the user's computer, and then when I need it, I'll go back and read it. And what you don't realize is that there might be other people reading or writing similar or the same cookies who can overwrite what you have, so that what you thought was going to happen doesn't actually happen, and that's what breaks your further assumptions. So to our friend's point about that there needs to be one team setting only a few cookies and then pressure testing them across the company's platforms, I am absolutely certain that would help, and I'm also absolutely certain that that doesn't happen right now. So that is one way to fix that problem.
Okay.
Cool. That's good, though. I mean, the first part in fixing a problem is measuring the extent of the problem, right? So hopefully we'll see something here on that.
I've run out of measuring tape.
Exactly.
How big is
All right,
it?
enough. I've told you about this before, like when, because we've done something similar. Every once in a while we do it with a touring plans website, and we basically ask people, like, what's wrong with the site that you would improve? And so Fred, our statistician, designs the questions, and every time we go through these, he's like, do you have a bottle of scotch handy? Because we're going to sit down and we're going to go through this, and it's not personal, but this might help. So it's like asking the world, do I look fat in these jeans?
There we go. When you ask that question, you have to be ready for the answer.
The feedback. Exactly. All right. One more survey from Amy, who describes herself as a touring plans and Disney Dish superfan. Thank you, Amy. Sent in this survey received after a stay at Copper Creek. And it's interesting because it's one of the most extensive surveys I've ever seen for just the hotel part of a Disney vacation. So a couple of questions here. Please rate your overall experience at Copper Creek Villas and Cabins. Excellent, very good, good, just okay, poor. Please rate your room experience at the Copper Creek Villas and Cabins. And in this particular case, Amy said that it was excellent. So there was a follow-up question. Why did you give a rating of excellent for your room experience at Copper Creek? And Amy's answer was, the room was beautiful and it matched the photos and descriptions I'd seen prior to my arrival. So it met all of my expectations. And so, Jim, that's an example of the website working absolutely the way it should, right? Mm-hmm. The thing that you advertise on the website should be the thing that guests see, and in this case it was. So full marks, 100 out of 100. Mm-hmm. The last question that I thought was interesting, and I want to get your take on this, Jim. How much do you agree with the following statement? I was able to access the amenities and services at Copper Creek at the level to which I expected. Strongly agree, somewhat agree, neither agree, disagree, somewhat disagree, or strongly disagree. I've never seen that question before, Jim. What's the purpose of that?
As lovely as the Copper Creek Villas and Cabins are, they are a trifle pricey. Yeah, and when you say trifle pricey, Walt Disney World, that's impressive. So the whole
notion saying the sun is warm. Yeah,
yes, that's it exactly. So at that price point, you expect everything. All the Jets and the Jacuzzi work.
All the appliances work. All of the light switches work. All of the pillows are comfortable. Right? You expect everything to be correct. Right?
That's it exactly. You cannot fall short in any way. And this answer, neither agree nor disagree. It's just sort of like...
Yeah, that's not the answer. That's a fail on that question, honestly. I mean, what you want there at that price range is you want everyone to say strongly agree.
Yes, I agree.
All right, so that makes sense. So because we've seen Disney on surveys ask questions around value for the money paid and stuff like that. So I think this is probably a follow-up question on that. Okay, that's great. But Jim, we're not going to ignore Universal. Our friend Joe sent in a Universal Orlando survey about bundling home streaming services into theme park perks. So here's a question that was floated in Joe's survey, and it was this benefit. Mm-hmm. And it was early park entry at Universal, VIP lounge access, which, by the way, I love at Universal, plus the Peacock streaming service and free movies. Would you pay $49.99 a year for that? Jim, I believe this is what the kids call vertical integration. Christy, tell me if I'm wrong.
I haven't been a kid for 25 years, but I'll co-sign.
The kids on their TikToks are all about vertical integration these days.
The
Tic Tacs, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It just sometimes makes me crazy how smart Universal is these days. I mean, something like that, tying Peacock to early park entry, to the lounge, to again, making people feel
and for
special.
$50 a year?
Yeah. That's the sort of thing that makes you think, I really needed to go to Universal. I paid $50 a year for, my streaming service, and I get this cool early park entry in my VIP lounge. So I need to take advantage of that. I mean, that's one of the things that spurs the thing that Disney covets. When they build an attraction, the phrase is actually intent to visit.
Intent to visit, yeah.
I want to go because of this.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I can eat $50 worth of Danish in the VIP lounge without breaking a sweat. I mean, I am confident. Yeah, I'm confident in that. Yeah, this would be one of those Red Lobster, all-you-can-eat crab leg scenarios where they lose money and the CEO gets fired because of me. Yeah, 100%, no doubt. Oh, by the way, Jim, speaking of Universal, have you seen the patent for the ride vehicle mechanism for Mario Kart? So clever.
Yeah. I want to see what grade coffee maker they are using at the Epic Universe site, because the steel is just...
Oh, they're just injecting it beans directly. We're bypassing the whole digestive system here and going straight to the bloodstream. Yeah. I mean, they've already got steel or going vertical on this. I mean, there's got to be some sweaty palms over in Glendale. That's all I'm saying. All right, we got time for one listener question, then we're going to talk to Christina. Mm-hmm. Listener questions from Suzanne, who says, I'm catching up on missed episodes, and I just listened to number 377, which discusses the huge crane that's now at Blizzard Beach near Runoff Rapids. While at Typhoon Lagoon in the first week of June, hey, that rhymes, there were 2 cast members that were in the lazy river doing Disney trivia. They said it was a new thing that was being tested out, activity hosts at the water parks, and they floated around in sparkly tubes and had laminated trivia cards. People in the area enjoyed it. Chrissy, how is this not a job for you?
I was just searching.
Yeah, just job openings. Yeah.
I am in.
Suzanne says, I asked one of them about the status of Blizzard Beach, and she said that a tube conveyor belt was being installed for one of the sets of slides, one which you previously had to carry your tube up to, so I'm guessing it's for Runoff Rapids. I wonder if this is perhaps what the crane is for. That sounds like a great idea, and one of my, not complaints, but one of the things that we sometimes see guests struggle with is exactly this, carrying one of those, family-style tubes up a set of stairs, especially if you've got small children that you're trying to corral. In that case, having a conveyor belt would be a welcome addition here. So, Suzanne, I hope exactly that's what it is.
The Crush and Gusher, wasn't that a day one feature of that?
Yeah, for the newer coasters it is, but for some of the older ones, like, and I'm blanking on the name, but there's definitely a family coaster where you actually have to carry up the tube up some stairs. And it is a workout. I mean, there's no way around it.
Genius idea. All
right, it's time to bring Christina into the show. Christina, you have been running around in the hot Florida sun because, as everyone knows, July is harvest season in EPCOT, and that means the Food and Wine Festival. So you are here to talk about the 3 best foods and drinks at Food and Wine, and then the 3 things to avoid. Where do you want to start?
Well, first of all, if I can say, we really need to open Blizzard Beach because Gigi and I go to Typhoon Lagoon once a week. And honestly, after 11:30, you cannot be in that wave pool. Or it's like that video of the one in China where you don't see water, you just see the floats. Do you know what I mean? And then the wave comes and it's like, it feels like that. It's too much. But anyway, I've got top 3 food items, top 3 drinks, because for science, I had to try all the drinks. And then the 3 things to avoid. If I promise to go fast, can we do all of those?
Yeah, so let's start with the 3 best foods at Food and Wine. Now, you've done this. You've eaten everything at Food and Wine for the last couple of years. I've seen the receipts, so I know.
Yes, that is why I buy new clothes.
But you look lovely.
Oh, now the thing I will say I do miss is, you remember last year at the Rotunda, we had the crab parfait. That's
right.
Not there because the Rotunda's open, because Voices of Liberty are back, and we're happy they're back. But I miss that.
Yeah.
That was lovely.
Also, anyway. It was air conditioning.
Well, the industrial strength air conditioning.
Yeah.
Man, it's just the best $6.50. Okay, so I'll say this. I'll preface my top 3 food items with the understanding that when I'm paying and you're not paying, I am cheap.
Okay, all right.
When you're paying, drinks on the house.
It's like Scrooge McDuck in Las Vegas, right? All right.
Yeah, you want 2? I'll buy you 2.
All right.
But I have to take your mother often and Giovanna, and unfortunately, then I pay for that. So I have to think about it like from a regular, human, somebody without Len's corporate card. So in my mind, I see $8 and $9, and I'm old enough to remember the olden days of Epcot food festivals when everything was like $3.75 and $4.25. And I know inflation, blah, 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 but the sizes of everything has gone down except for Germany, and we'll get to that. Everything is smaller. Everything went up in price. So to me, if it's $8 or $9, like it has to be spectacular, because for $21, I can get the charcuterie at Le Cellier and I can sit down.
Right.
And
we've talked about food items like the seafood boil at the United States Pavilion, where that was like $7 or $8, but the amount of food that you got was so plentiful that it was a good deal, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's a whole skip this year. The hops and barley whole skip. They finally got rid of that lobster roll because it was like 2 pieces of lobster and it was like $48 or something. But let's talk about the best stuff. Okay. The best stuff for me is I wanted it to be cheap. I wanted it to be filling, and it had to be good. That was my goal going in. The thing I discovered is there are so many spicy dishes this year. Like,
really?
Spicy for the sake of pain. Like, I don't mind a spice, like a wee bit of, flavorful, slow burn, but like hot that my face hurt and now I'm mad and I want to throw it.
Because that's what you want in July in Florida.
Yeah,
habanero sauce. Yeah.
That's what it
do you have
felt
like do you have like a ghost pepper that I could sort of cool off with here?
That's what it felt like. Okay, so the things that I am listing, one of them has a wee tiny bit of spice, but it's lovely. It's not bad. Okay, so my third favorite was the crispy Brussels sprouts from the Brew Wing Odyssey. So that is indoors, AC. It's a huge serving, $5.
Oh, and they've taken out the Epcot experience, so there's plenty more seating there too, right?
Yeah, here's the thing. The first day of the festival, it was all tables and chairs. The second day of the festival, it was all the standing tables, which means now many of the standing tables around World Showcase are gone. For example, you don't got no tables anymore at Greece.
So they moved all of the standing tables to the Odyssey?
Maybe we're bringing in more. I will be back again this weekend, but I'm just telling you, from day 1 to day 2 to day 4, we moved a bunch of tables.
All right, so go back to the Brussels sprouts. What did you like about the Brussels sprouts?
They're crunchy. The first day they had just a wee bit of buffalo sauce.
Okay.
The second and the fourth day it was too much. So my advice is just to say, hit me slow with the
go light on the sauce.
Delicious.
So one of the things we've talked about, I don't know if we've talked about it this show, but you and I have talked about it, how like Brussels sprouts are going through a resurgence over the last 10 years because a new less bitter cultivar was released that basically
Yes, but you're right. But you want a little bit of bitter because the sauce on it is a little bit sweet, the cheese a little bit sweet. But yes, they're not the same Brussels sprouts.
So they're roasted?
Yeah, so the edges are crunchy as they should be.
Is there like an oil on top or anything, or
it's a buffalo sauce?
Just a buffalo sauce.
Yeah, so good. Oh my gosh.
All right, fantastic. All right, what else did you like?
Yeah, the official, it just says buffalo sauce officially in the description, but there's a little bit of cheese on there. So the number 2 item, not to be missed, is from a booth that I 100% recommend getting everything from, and that's the Swanky Saucy Swine. It's right at the front.
Yeah.
Dear heavenly goodness, there's a grilled pork shoulder, lettuce wraps. The serving is
Wait, grilled pork shoulder, but in lettuce because it's healthy. Jim, remember, this is the booth that you and I went to last year together because of Chrissy's recommendation.
Remember, Nancy's a snuggletarian. I'm not allowed to eat anything with cute eyes. But lettuce is my get out of jail free card. It's like,
exactly.
Look, it's in lettuce.
Look, this is practically a salad. I mean, come on.
The lettuce, the lovely bib lettuce. I mean, it's a dark green.
Bib lettuce is good. Yeah. It's almost like a large spinach leaf, right? It's got that vibrant, deep green color. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to step away for a moment. I need to make a plane reservation. You two talk amongst yourselves.
Okay. Bring a bib.
And
there we go.
Here's the best part. It's 2 giant servings for $5.25. So it ticks every one of my boxes. And it's not spicy. It's not going to burn your face off. Also, we'll get to that, but my top favorite drink 2 years running is the Bloody Mary from the Swanky Saucy Swine. The candied bacon wasn't on it the first day, but because of science, I've had to get it 3 more times. It's there now. It's enormous. You get to keep the cup. It has the highest alcohol content, I believe. Again, it did last year. It's very strong. It's definitely for old, crusty alcoholics who've had, the reason you used to have Bloody Marys was because you needed,
Little hair of the dog. Exactly. Yeah.
There we go.
Like us, you've had those tequila nights, and then the next day you're like, I need to recover. So good. Okay. That's wonderful. So the lettuce wrap.
So everything at the Saucy Swine?
Everything. Just get it all. Just get it all and get the Bloody Mary. The Bloody Mary is only $11, but we'll get to that. The number one favorite item, and all of my favorite items were cheese-based. Speaks to, I think, who I am as a person.
Yeah.
But
you identify as cheese. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Number one item is the crispy paneer in India, which is between China and Germany.
I've never tried this.
Oh, okay.
Really?
It's
Paneer?
$5.
Okay. All right.
A huge serving for $5. And I'm talking in terms of EPCOT huge, Disney huge.
Right,
okay?
right.
It is delicious. The entire booth is lovely. Lovely. Cannot go wrong. It's worth a stop. So good. And you know what? They have a little more pep in their step than some of the other booths. I don't know what it is. I won't complain about the ones I was going to complain about, but they move fast. Everybody's always extremely nice. The food is amazing. Crispy paneer. Don't skip.
Paneer it's a softer cheese, right? And
It is almost like a squeaky cheese. Like if you like poutine, shout out to Canada, then this texture is very similar. It's also like really well fried, like tofu.
So basically this is the Indian version of mozzarella sticks.
It is. It's grown up cheese sticks. That's what I said. Yes. Okay. So good. So good. You don't even need the dipping sauce, but it's good.
And how does that feel? How does it feel eating cheese sticks in 95-degree weather or with the heat index 104 or whatever?
It's my life now. This is what I do.
This is what I do. Look, there's some things I can control, Len. There are some things I can't control.
I got the Bloody Mary first, so I don't know if that helps.
Yeah. Well, no, it's to cool you down. I mean, you're just taking care of your body.
Well, there's ice in it. So I was basically...
And vegetables.
Yeah. So honorable mention has to go out to Greece, the griddled cheese. It was not open on opening day because, as you always say, they were completely surprised by the festival. But it is open now. Now, here's the weird thing. So it's $4.75, which is lovely. But sometimes, because again, for science, I've been many times, sometimes you get one piece and sometimes you get two. And I can't figure out why. Like there is I'm trying to be super nice all the time. I don't know why, but sometimes you get a double helping of fried cheese.
Huh.
And I don't know why, but it's awesome. It's all good.
Huh. How about that? Maybe if you say something nice about Telly Savalas, you get extra. He was great,
sure
right?
The 19-year-old working the register are behind I don't think, Len. I think does anybody even know who that is anymore? We're so old. No. Don't do that.
I just did a joke that only Jim understands, which is fine. Telly Savalas was Greek, actually, by the way. That means born in the United States.
What casino was that he used to do?
Oh.
Casino ad. Anyway, yeah, I'm old too. Okay.
All right. So that's great. All right. So cheese is what I'm hearing is the highlight of...
Brussels sprouts, lettuce wraps, and then cheese. Nothing that I would recommend is over $5.25.
All right, so just let me go through the 4 food groups here you're recommending. Cheese, including the subset of flaming cheese.
Right, Jim's salad with a little bit of side pork.
Jim's salad with pork accoutrement.
Right.
Okay. The Bloody Mary is the third.
Well, no, that's my drink. I just had to talk about it.
It's basically a liquid form of salad, though. I mean, if you put it in a blender,
thick and chewy. Yeah, essentially, it's a gazpacho.
And then Brussels sprouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is your guide to healthy eating.
All right, let's not go that far, but
someone get the FDA on this. I think we should do a show.
I love that the very best thing that this year's Food and Wine, you don't really have to walk into World Showcase. I mean, it's right there. You come out of what used to be Future World, hang the left, and it's like, here I am. And grab a bench, sit down, and it's like, the rest of the countries, I can see them from here. Don't worry about it.
Fine. Yeah.
Back in the AC, man.
Yeah.
That's key.
All right, and then Chrissy, real quick, the 3 things to avoid, because it's in the words of Oscar Wilde, it's not enough to succeed, others must fail. What are the 3 things to avoid?
All right, you have to get the Guinness Bailey's coffee shake from Ireland.
Mm-hmm. Guinness Bailey's coffee.
$11.50.
Is that?
It is enormous.
Is that nitro? Is it like a nitro brew?
No, Leonard, this is Ireland.
Well,
They don't
well,
do
but
any of that.
Guinness is nitrogen in it. That's what makes the bubbles.
It's a nice, thick, chewy. It doesn't have that fake coffee taste that some like chocolate coffee drinks have, like the one in Belgium has. It doesn't have that funky aftertaste that makes your tongue fuzzy. I don't know what it is. Love it. So good. Okay. What to skip? Conversely, skip
Okay.
all of the food in Ireland. It is nursing home food. Not even. I've had nursing home food. It's not. It is terrifyingly bad.
Is it
The
really?
seafood, oh my gosh. The seafood pie, I had to eat it. I was very grossed out. I was very upset. It's so overcooked. I mean, you want to cry over it. It's tiny, got smaller. It is still bad. Throw the whole booth away.
I can't imagine a scenario where I would say I'd be walking around Florida in July and say, you know what I could go for right now at lunch? Seafood pie. Like, there's no scenario. I would rather go hungry, honest to God.
The thing here is it's literally the Woody Allen joke made real. You know, the food here is terrible. Yes, in such small portions. You know.
That's the sign for the entire Ireland booth. So
The food is terrible in such small portions. Oh my God.
the good news is Ireland has a line because it smells as bad as it looks. So go get your shake, hold your nose, and keep it moving.
Oh God. All right. Okay.
The other thing to skip is the whole Australia booth.
Really?
Oh.
Pricey. The shrimp was so overcooked. I'm going to go back. I don't want to because it was so gross, but I'm going to go back again because maybe it was opening day again. Maybe they didn't get the memo.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back and try it. Everything is smaller. The lamb chop, Leonard, I don't want to think about how small this lamb was. Rest in peace, Lambert. And I know he was a lion. Don't come at me. But it was so tiny. It looked like, those little 5 surprise things that Gigi has. It looks like something that's made for like her doll.
This is like it's coming from a Beanie Baby sheep, right? Is that that's where we're harvesting these things from?
Oh.
And the cake, the Lamington cake is so small. I looked at the cake, looked at the person, looked at the cake, and I was like, are you being serious with this? Are we being for real? And then
knowing you, there was profanity in the middle of that sentence too.
in my head, but I would never cut the cast member. But it tastes worse than honestly like your best Easy Bake Oven.
Really?
Deal.
Australia?
Bad. It's incredibly tiny. Not good. Just skip the whole dang booth.
The thing for me with the Australia booth is it's the same thing every year.
Well, but a lot of them are, and that's okay as long
Yeah.
as it's the same thing I want to come back to. Every like griddled cheese.
Yeah.
I'm coming for
Okay.
you.
Well, yeah. I mean, but that's if it's good. But if it's not good, why do you keep doing it? Like literally the definition of insanity.
The last thing I have to say to absolutely skip, even though it was scrum-trelescent, Canada raised the price on their filet to $9.25, and I took about 50 pictures with the fork to show scale. When I tell you it is not 2 full bites,
It's a medallion. It's 1 medallion of beef.
it's not. You can't share it. You could not. And it's a food festival, so it needs to be enough that everybody gets a little bite, but like you would have to buy 3, and then I'm just going to go to Le Cellier. I'm not spending $30 to stand out in the heat and eat on a trash can. I mean, you did for me, but maybe it was a bad day. So I did make a note. We have 4 booths that are opening up in August. We have Hawaii Noodle Exchange, Mac and Eats, and Coastal Eats. I love all of them. I'm really excited about the musubi. I am going to give everything a new round in August because, hey, maybe we update some things.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that the festival is going on so long now that they have basically an all-star break in the middle, and then they start up with phase 2, right?
Yeah.
It's good because Jim, you and I have advocated for rotating menus.
Oh no,
for
absolutely.
longer for years, right? So it's good that they're actually doing it.
Given that Food and Wine now, it's like the expiration date on a Twinkie. Hey pal, you should live so long.
Exactly. Don't you worry about it. I'll be here when you're ready. literally, should be the motto for every EPCOT festival.
But seriously, with it this long, they should take advantage of it. And hey, come back for the second menu.
Yeah, man.
All right, fantastic. Well, thank you for that, Christine. And you and I should go next week or this week actually, and go through the highlights.
Got V&A's, and next month is Halloween. So happy. It is August 12th. I'll be at the very first. Mickey's Not So Scary.
We're within 2 weeks of Halloween.
Enjoying my bag of melted candy.
Absolutely. I'll be there.
All right. We'll have you back on for all of that. That's great.
Cool. Thank you, Chris.
All right, folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, Jim tells us how Disney converted Norway's Maelstrom ride into Frozen Ever After. So whatever you're planning to do, let it go, because we'll be right back.
Every story you love, every invention that moves you, every idea you wished was yours, all began as nothing. Just a blank page with a blinking cursor, asking a simple question. What do you see? Great ideas start on Mac. Find out more on apple.com/Mac.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Big news. Sephora is now on Uber Eats. So if you find yourself facing a beauty emergency, like needing a last-minute gift, or you're just out of your favorite mascara, again, don't panic. We got you. Order now and get $10 off on Sephora orders of $50 or more on the Uber Eats app. Order now. Offer ends October 30th. One order per customer. Additional terms apply. See app for availability. Delivery fees may apply.
We left off, Jim, at the end of part 2 with brand new boats coming in the Maelstrom ride and all of the splashy effects in the North Seas scene dialed way down for Maelstrom. So no more crashing waves, no more rain from above. But the issue that Disney was running through here is that Maelstrom's hourly capacity was maybe 1,000 people per hour, or maybe 900 if things weren't going so great. So on an average day, maybe 10,000 guests were getting through this. Also, the Akershus restaurant, we both noted, had many different kinds of herring. In fact, probably many more than the average guest wanted. So Disney was about to make some changes, including character dining at Akershus, but also for some other things. What happened next?
I wanted to bring in an actual expert, somebody who could really give us the inside.
The inside of the Frozen story.
Yes, as in somebody who had a front seat to the transformation here. And so I reached out to friend of the show, Josh Gad. And I was trying to get him to come on the show, but it turns out that Mr. Gad is actually on the other side of the planet right now. He and his family are vacationing in New Zealand. In fact, I asked him for his input on this, and because he grew up in Florida.
South Florida. He's from like Hollywood.
There we go. And
I'm from Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah. And the thing is that he was born in 81. So when he started going to Walt Disney World, EPCOT was brand new, and it was it was his favorite park.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah.
And so he had just the unified, themes of science and discovery, particularly from an early age, and inspired him and awed him. And he wants to say that the family went in 82, but his first real memories were from 84, and he remembers Horizon, the World of Motion, Imagination, and the Land, and particularly Universe of Energy, with the curtains coming up and seeing those enormous dinosaurs. It was all magical. And he also vividly remembers eating at Alfredo's in Italy.
I swear to God, if you went in 84 and ate at Alfredo's, I think he might have been on the same family trip that Chris and I were on. Because honest to God, we did that in 84. And I think I've talked about this on the show. When my dad bought us lunch in Alfredo's, he was the most pleased, and I'm not exaggerating, probably the most pleased I have ever seen that man in a restaurant.
100%.
Honest to God. I remember where we were all sitting at the table. Mm-hmm. That's how memorable his happiness was to me as a child.
Oh,
And that makes me cry.
that's so sweet.
It's making me cry thinking about it, but you are 100% right.
Like, I know where we sat and everything. Yeah, I mean, that's one of, so yeah. So apparently Josh is like sixth person or seventh person in our family. Sure. All right.
There we go.
Christy and I always joke that we have a brother whose paternity is questionable. Maybe there's a mix-up.
Well,
at a hospital.
I wasn't joking. I seriously think we need to get him tested.
Okay, the next time we're with Josh, maybe we just get a quick hair sample.
Okay.
All right.
I'm on
it. Don't tell him though. Don't tell him. Okay.
All right.
Anyway.
Now, in regard to Maelstrom, he actually remembers when the Norway and the Living Seas opened. He says, "I forced my parents to take me." And Norway was incredible because it was the first true ride that felt like it lived up to the promise and the scale of World Showcase. I mean, he always loved the Mexico ride, but it didn't feel epic like Norway did. And from the moment you begin that ascent and the one-eyed Viking, I mean, this is Josh himself saying, the spirit of Norway has always been, will be that of adventure. That gives me goosebumps every time. I also used to love the film at the end and wanted to get on a plane and fly to Norway. So again, Len, your encounter at customs.
If I already did not have a twin, I would say Josh is it. But okay.
All right. So anyway, we jump ahead, and Frozen, the movie, is in production at Disney, 2012 or thereabouts. And just a little aside here, people really don't understand how late in the process Frozen came together. I mean, there were in 2012 they were still trying to figure out what the relationship was between Elsa and Anna. They had the Snow Queen who lived up in the mountain, and they had this young woman from the village who went up to visit the Snow Queen, and it wasn't working, and they were on their umpteenth draft of the script, and to this day they don't remember who in the story meeting said, maybe they're sisters. But that literally turns the entire movie around. It's like, oh my God, how could we have not thought of that? And they literally had what they then called the Sisters Summit. So the idea that they bring all the women who work in feature animation into a conference room, and it's like, okay, tell the really awkward sisters stories.
Oh my God.
When you don't.
Go to the next one. Can we have that next year instead of the extravaganza?
Well, there we go. The Sister Summit too. And you got to remember that Josh started out on this project even before then. And in fact, there was an earlier version of the Snow Queen where there's a story about the very first reading of this thing where this version of the Snow Queen was actually a show queen. They were going to have her, at the reading, it was Megan Mullally from Will and Grace.
Oh, yeah.
Karen, who read for the role. But what she was reading for the role because Bette Midler wasn't able to make that reading.
Oh, God. Also a great choice.
Josh, at that point, was the Snow Queen's minion. It was a role much like Iago, and his superpower was because of his carrot nose, he could smell you coming from far away. So it's like, somebody's coming to the castle. I think she herds goats. There's this great story about Josh is always a huge Disney fan, always loved animation, desperately wanted to be in a Disney film, and was at this reading of this version of the script, and very professional, and walks out of feature animation, gets in his car, picks up the phone, and calls his agent. It's like, get me off of this movie. I thought it was going to be Iago. I'm a snowman who smells people from far away. I don't want to be in this movie. Anyway, jump ahead. The folks that Josh worked with, Bobby and Kristen Lopez, he worked with on Book of Mormon, end up taking over writing the score for Frozen, and they're like, oh, you got to get Josh. He would be great for this Olaf character. And they convince him to come back. And from the get-go, everyone identifies Olaf as the breakout character. So the film is wrapping production, and Imagineering is already raising its hands. In fact, hey, Josh, come over here. And the first thing they do is they have him read a brand new narration for a second edition of World of Color at Disneyland. It was called Winter Dreams. It debuted in November 2014. Okay. Also, Disneyland had one of the very first meet and greets with Anna and Elsa, and the gimmick was that outside of the building, on the rooftop, was Olaf, who would then talk to the people in the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
And Josh recorded a whole set of lines for that. And what was particularly great was when the attraction was closed at night, they actually recorded an alternate track where it was Olaf on the roof snoring and occasionally muttering incoherently. But Josh loved all of this. It was just, he felt like it was such an honor to be part of this. So he talked about how one of his favorite things ever at Disney was the Robin Williams, and in particularly the Timekeeper show. And
Timekeeper, and then with Walter Cronkite over in the studio tour.
There we go. But the thing about the Timekeeper show is there was this wonderful thing at the end where Robin Williams said, well, that's a show. Get out, get out, get out.
Yeah.
And so he said what was great about doing Olaf for World of Color Winter Dreams is that he got to do that sort of end of spiel show to the effect of, well, that's lovely. Okay, everyone move along. Come on, get out of here. That sort of thing. And, he was sort of trying to tap into that Robin Williams energy. Anyway, as soon as Frozen comes out, John Lasseter, the then head of Disney Animation, they start talking about, we got to bring this into the park, because Frozen became this phenomenon, eventually selling $1.2 billion worth of tickets worldwide, winning an Academy Award. So it's like, we need to get going on bringing this into the park. So Josh gets a call, and come on over to Imagineering, and hey, we're going to do a Frozen attraction. It's like, oh, cool, I can't wait. And it's like, so where are you going to build it? Where's it's going to go? Well, it's going at Epcot, and it's going where Maelstrom is. And Josh is like, no, you can't get rid of that ride. It's a classic. And it's like, he says, of course they didn't need my opinion, but I was truly concerned that we wouldn't be living up to the high bar of the original ride. So Imagineering says, come with us. They take him down to this tiny room at Glendale. They put this VR rig on his head, and they give him a virtual ride through.
Oh, he got to see the cave.
Yeah.
He get the cave equipment. Oh, I've heard about this. Yeah. Okay, all right.
And he said it was one of the wildest things I've ever experienced. Truly mind-blowing. And during that same session, they even showed him some of the stuff they were working on for Shanghai. So it was like double prizes. Here's the Frozen ride, and by the way, here's what we're going to do on the other side of the globe. So as for his part in Frozen Ever After, he says we recorded in 2015, and it was only one session. And Bobby and Kirsten had sent us everything. And you got to remember that it wasn't just Josh who was coming back. It was Jonathan Groff, it was Idina Menzel, it was Kristen Bell. They all came back to do the attraction. So the Lopez's walked the voice cast of the original film through everything they were going to do for the ride. And the process of working with the team on all these things was pretty effortless because, at this point, we're a well-oiled machine. And he said, the first time I saw the walking Olaf, my jaw was on the floor. I love animatronics. And to be one of the coolest ones WDI ever built was a real honor.
Oh yeah, so that's the very beginning of Frozen Ever After, where they're doing the scene and Olaf is like skating, walking around. Yeah, that actually is a really great animatronic.
It is. It's a wonderful start to the attraction. I mean, the fact that what I love about that is if you're in the right seat on Frozen Ever After, Olaf locks eyes with you and then walks and follows you as the boat moves. I mean, that's a great effect.
No, it's really good. It's one of the highlights of the ride, yeah.
Josh really feels honored that he got tapped to do the voice of Olaf, and particularly got a second chance at it after the whole, I can smell you coming from a mile away. But he sees Olaf, the character. I mean, face it, we've had Frozen 2 released in 2019 and the holiday special and that sort of thing. He's actually seen the character grow over time. He says, if you think about toddler, you think in Frozen 1, Olaf is really a toddler at that point. By the time we get him in Frozen 2, he's more of a tween. And very quick to prize Hiram Osmond, who, by the way, that's Donny Osmond's nephew. He does a lot of the Olaf stuff that the studio's done. Like, I don't know if you've seen the Olaf Present shorts that have been on Disney Plus.
Oh, they're hysterical.
Yeah. Or the Olaf at Home stuff that was done last year. According to Josh, his favorite moment of the entire attraction is the Let It Go scene. And he says, it gives me goosebumps every time I ride, and seeing the joy on my girls' faces. I'm reminded how brilliant it was for the Imagineers to use the ride system to accentuate the iconic music. The boats in that point are almost choreographed to the music. And he says, if there's a bummer, it's that my kids also can't experience Maelstrom. And he hopes at some point in the future that the Imagineers will create some sort of virtual ride-through of all the extinct Disney attractions so that we can one day share that with a loved one. And he and his family got to see it for the first time in the winter of 2016.
Oh, great.
And by the way, his family all still lives in Florida. So they try to bring the girls down every year to visit with family. And when they finally took his two girls on the Frozen Ever After ride, they lost their minds when they saw Olaf, because it's like, there's Dada. And which he said had to have confused the other people in the boat.
They're probably like, oh, that's cute. That girl thinks that her dad is Josh Gad.
There we go. And if things had gone according to plan, Josh would be one of the only people to have hosted two rides or made appearance in two attractions at EPCOT. Because they originally wanted him to serve as the host of the Beauty and the Beast sing-along show.
Because right now it's Mrs. Potts.
Yes, it is. But the thinking initially when the project got underway was the live-action version of Beauty and the Beast had just been released to theaters. And so they thought, okay, so we'll get Josh, who played LeFou in that movie, and he can tell the story himself. The whole notion of it was LeFou all along who was setting up the storyline. But they then decided to pivot and make it about the animated version, but they were still asking him to host it. And it's like, in my mind, that made zero sense.
Yeah, I mean, you hate to turn down an Imagineering request for something, especially if you're a huge theme park fan, but it's got to make sense, right?
That's it exactly. But he said, I love the Imagineers, and I'm always happy to make my mark when I can with their brilliant attractions.
The funny thing is, I'm reading the notes that Josh sent you, and here's my concern: that if I ever actually meet Josh in person, we're gonna have nothing to talk about because I agree with him on everything. Like Chrissy, I mean, part of this could be my own biography, right? Chrissy, you were there for a lot of it, right? Like.
He's a better singer.
Okay, yeah, well, there's that, right? But my God, this is great.
But once Josh gets back from New Zealand, we will have to invite him to finally bring him here in person. If anything, Drew Taylor, I just recorded a new fine-tuning with him this morning, but he reminded me that the Arendelle, the Frozen dining experience on the Wish, it's a supersized Remy. You remember, when Chef de France, they used to have the little animatronic Remy that rolled around.
Briefly,
Evidently, on the Wish, they have this 2-foot-tall animatronic Olaf that they roll around the restaurant. Who reminds people. I mean, be sure to ask for the second dessert. Evidently, Josh recorded new lines for this, so
great.
We'll definitely have to follow up with him about that. So.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, we have to have him on. I can't wait to, we're going to be on the Wish in September, so we'll have to look out for this.
We are. And after I get my fill of pork shoulder and lettuce, because again, you have to build up your stamina, get some health going before you get on that boat. So.
That is a fantastic story, Jim. Thanks for engaging with Josh to get that, and thanks to Josh for sending that in.
As sweet as you would hope that he would be, and more to the point,
seems great.
Crazy super Disney super fan.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with theme park nerds.
That's fine.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for the Disney Dish show today. Please help support our show and Jim Hill Media by subscribing over at disneydish.bandcamp.com, and you'll find exclusive shows never before heard on iTunes. On next week's show, the incomparable Mrs. Shannon Ford is on to talk about her inaugural cruise on the Disney Wish. And we've just released a new Bandcamp exclusive on the Crane Company Bathroom of Tomorrow at Disneyland, so look for that. You can find more of Jim at jimhillmedia.com and more of me, Len, at touringplans.com. Thanks for coming on. Chrissy, where can people find you?
Thanks for having me. Touring Plans, Instagram.com, Twitter,
Orchid, LinkedIn.
In front of this swanky sausage spot.
Exactly.
February.
All right. We'll look for you there. We're produced fabulously by Aaron Adams, who'll be defending his World Crappie Fishing Championship belt as part of the Greater Grenada Downtown Jubilee on Saturday, September 10th, 2022, starting at 9 a.m. at Downtown Square in beautiful downtown Grenada, Mississippi. And Jim, by the way, I actually had to call the Chamber of Commerce to ask them how to pronounce that. And they wanted to know why, and I gave them the story. And the woman was like, okay, good luck with that. Yeah, Okay, anyway. While Aaron's doing that, please go into iTunes and rate our show and tell us what you'd like to hear next. For Jim, this is Len. We'll see you on the next show.